This is the Lockpicker 1969, and welcome to my channel, and welcome to the next episode of Interview with the Lockpicker. Today's guest is TXRebel. Say hi.
Hey folks, how's everybody doing?
So where are you from?
Originally from Oregon, but I've been down in Texas for over a decade now.
Okay, whereabouts in Texas?
Central Texas, out in the Gatesville area, is my
Okay,
mailing address. We're like half hour from it. I'm on a 20-acre ranch out in the middle of nowhere.
okay. Well, so what does your name mean and how is it significant?
So kind of a silly story, but years ago I got into a group of people that were doing firearms instructing. Um, through a charity, and they had approached me and asked if I wanted to be an instructor with them. I liked what they were doing, so I agreed to do it. And they told me that I had to be on their forum, that's how you log in for the shoots and how they disseminate information. So I went to the forum and just tried to pick a name, didn't think of any significance to it. And the first couple were taken. So I came up with, Texas Rebel. Cool, let's try it. It was available, so I did it. And then as I started showing up to these events, everybody is calling me Texas Rebel. And I'm like, no, my name is Daniel.
Yeah,
Um, and apparently everybody is known by their handle, so it just kind of stuck. And then
yeah,
from that charity, I got invited into other charities, into other board of directors and different things, and people from that community started growing with me, and I started growing with them, and it just kind of caught fire. And then a couple of years ago, about 3 years ago, I started with the Motorcycle Association. um, and they're a 501 veterans organization, but everybody's got a road name. You've got your nickname on your vest. And I've already got 100 people calling me TX Rebel. I'm like, I don't need to complicate things. Stuck with it, and I've just leaned into it. It's kind of taken fire, taken hold. So I just, it is what it is. It's nothing I gave it a lot of thought to. It just kind of happened.
okay. So how did you get into lock sport?
So I originally, going through SEER in the military, they taught us how to escape some restraints and pick handcuffs and stuff. And I thought that was kind of cool, but never really did anything. And then I don't know, maybe 3 years ago or so, decided decided it would be a fun hobby and possibly a good skill to have. So, like everybody, I went on Amazon and found the good stuff, the Gosos, and ended up buying a set of those and got some of the acrylic, see-through padlocks, a combo of a bunch of different ones, and picked them and kind of checked it out and tried it. And I even think I might have picked my back door. I don't remember. Um, but okay, that was cool. Put it away. Didn't do anything with it. I've got the tools. Um, they're there if I need them, and didn't do anything. And then a couple years, maybe a year later, I decided I wanted to get some, decent tools and really get into it. So, did some online research and found Sparrows,
Hmm.
bought their Vorax kit, and bought their progressively pinned practice locks, and was able to get the two, 3, and 4 pin pretty quick. But then the 5 pin just kicked my butt. I couldn't get it, got frustrated, put it away.
Okay.
And then about a month and a half, almost 2 months ago now, I decided, I if the winter's coming, I can't ride my bike as much. I wanted to start doing something. So I've given thought to picking back up the guitar, which I used to play a lot, haven't played in years,
Okay.
or pull out the lock picks. And the lock picks were easy because that just, all I need is my lap. My guitars, I'd have to dig out a bunch of stuff and make room because my wife doesn't want to hear me practice the same song ad nauseum for an hour trying to get that one lick down.
Yeah.
So I got into lock picking, and this time it stuck. I was, stuck with it till I got through that 5 pin, and then found the online community, which was kind of the between the online community. Lockpicking itself is fun, but then the community and the LPU belt of giving myself a target, something to aim for, a mission to complete,
Hmm.
was kind of the trifecta. And it grabbed me, and I jumped in feet first, and it took off from there. So it had a couple false starts, but once I got going, I've really been enjoying it.
So what belts have you gotten to now?
So I am currently a blue belt. However, I just submitted for my purple belt today, so we will see if it gets approved.
Ah, well, good luck. So
Thank you.
you didn't submit, a blue belt CL. You went a different route. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So as I was working through the belts, on the website, it's got what all the requirements are. I've bought stuff to do the CLs. I've got some locks I'm going to turn into CLs at some point. But despite having 20 acres on my little ranch out here, my barn is open air. I don't have anywhere really to do any. I don't have a garage. I don't have anywhere enclosed, anywhere that's air conditioned to do stuff. Um, so I was going to try and figure that out, but it was going to take me some time and some money. And when I was looking through the LPU website, they listed on there that there were some other projects you could do, and one of them was to do a video teaching somebody how to pick a lock that isn't a pin tumbler, if I remember that right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and one of the first lock sets I got to kind of learn and get going was online on Facebook, Art of Lock Picking. Somebody point me in Greg Potter's direction. And like many of you, I ended up
Yep.
getting a starter set from him, and in it was just a classic, 1500 series, whatever, 1525, I think is what it is. Just a dial master lock, dial lock like what we had on, your gym locker, your high school locker. And just playing with it, I had already seen videos of how to decode them and how to do them. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And when it said that that was a way to do that, I just went ahead and, shot a 2-minute video and posted it up, and it got accepted. So that's how I got my blue belt, was
Cool.
uh, by doing a little video. But I definitely want to get into the challenge locks. It's just a matter of uh, getting the tools and getting set up and getting started.
Well, have you picked any?
I have picked, so technically I picked two. I went to the live lockpicking event that Sandman put on
Okay.
last month down in Austin, and Cloud the Great was there. And he ended up giving me, I think it was designed for beginners. He didn't even tell me what was in it, and I didn't want to open it up. I'm at a meetup, but he gave me a little lock to mess with, and that thing had a pretty deep fall set in it. Um, but it was fun. I got to try that out. So that was kind of technically my first one. But then one of my buddies that started around the same time as me, and we both just kind of got hooked up, was your last interview, Swamp Picker.
Okay.
He had Airways Toys Challenge Lock 18, and he sent it to me after he had completed it, and I got a chance to pick that one. And then I think it was yesterday. Trying to remember who sent it to me. Oh, I'm gonna say this wrong. Shoot, I don't remember if it was Grouchy Lenny. I think it was Grouchy Lenny, but it may have been Lord Kodiak. I don't know. Somebody sent me here. I've got the book. Hold on. Let's look. Grouchy Lenny sent it to me. So I've
Okay.
got Crow Llama's Malice in Wonderland.
Ah, okay.
Came in a day or two ago. So I haven't tried it yet. And it's a Euro cylinder, and I have never picked a Euro cylinder, period. So my first Euro cylinder is going to be a challenge lock if I can get it.
Okay, cool. So I want to go back for a second. So beyond the Sparrow's Vorax, you mentioned that you picked up a few other tools along the way as well.
Yeah, so used the Sparrows for a while, but in that lock set I got from Greg Potter, he had included the Covert Instruments FNG kit.
Ah,
So he
okay.
just had I think it had one rake and a flat, just a standard flat, and a tensioner, and I really liked it. So I ended up uh, buying the entire Apex kit, and I love them. The
Yeah.
handles are great. And then when I went down to the live event, Jimmy Longs was there in person, so I bought some of his, and Rat Yoke was there in person, so I couldn't help myself, and I bought a Rat Yoke. So I'm a very junior new person that just
Yeah.
has a OCD fetish for whatever I do. I really get into it,
You were at the
and so
you were
yeah,
at the candy store.
and I was unsupervised. My wife let me go alone.
Yeah, I understand that one. All right, so you mentioned something about getting stuck on 5-pin locks. Did you have any other challenges that you faced when you were learning lockpicking?
So to be honest, once I got that 5-pin and actually started picking normal locks, it went pretty quick through um, the first three ranks. I actually didn't even have a yellow belt, so I skipped over yellow and got an orange belt. And then as soon as my yellow belt came in, I'd ordered I don't remember what I got. I found something on Amazon or went to Walmart and bought a Brinks 164 or something.
Okay.
But I did that. But LPU, when I put in for it, they're like, "Well, that's actually a downgrade. I can change it if you want." And I was like, "No, whatever, just leave it." So um, I technically never got my yellow belt. I skipped over it. The American 1100, I think I got that within the first week. and that was definitely challenging. It was definitely a step up. I could tell the difference in, the quality of the make and the starting to get into the security pins. I seem to be most people that I talk to seem to hate spools and they don't mind serrated pins as much. I'm the opposite. Spools to me are so easy
Yeah.
because the counter rotation is so obvious.
Yeah.
But the serrated pins, knowing which ones where is that's something I still need to, get a little more practice with. But that got me for a while, and then I kind of had a pause in my progression. I'd ordered a Paclock 98 Pro, but it took like a week and a half before they even shipped it, and then another week till it came in. Um, and I had to pick on that one for a while. And in hindsight, that's really not a big deal, but it took me a couple days to get into it the first time, and then another couple hours to get it the second time, and now I can pretty regularly get into it in a semi-reasonable, 10 minutes or less.
Okay.
Um, but then my first purple belt was just sheer dumb luck. I was doing a live with a couple guys. I think it was Nola Southpaw and I think it was Greyhound was on there, or maybe it was C Stu Do. I don't remember.
Mhm.
But I was picking at SFIC, and all of a sudden it clicks, and I go into what I think was a false set, and then I remember I'm picking an SFIC, so I pulled the whole thing out. I had it in a 3D printed holder. I'm like, well, I guess I got it to control. Now I just got to get it to the operating line. Um, Picked on it for another, 10, 20 minutes and got it. So that was my first purple. And then the real challenge, the first one for me was I started the one I picked for the first time last night, and I did my video and submitted for my belt today was a Medico M3.
Cool.
And that was the first lock that was really challenging for me. Is uh, I had to take it apart and progressive pin it, which I hadn't done with any other lock. I'd taken them apart, seen what was in them, but progressive pinning it and just practicing with one pin, then two pins, then three pins, doing just the security pins, just the standard pins. Between losing parts and springs and having to wait for some stuff to come in and taking a break here and there because I was getting frustrated, I've been working on this lock for probably 2, maybe 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Um, but we finally got it.
Okay. So along the way, when you were just getting going, we're talking back a couple months, who, if anybody, would you say you turn to, let's say on YouTube, as people who you feel have influenced or got you going or pushed you along?
So the main one, again, part of why I think I stuck with it this time around was one, just stubborn. I wanted to do it, but the community. And when I got plugged in with on Facebook, I found the art of lockpicking, and from the jump, everybody was friendly, everybody was inviting, everybody was encouraging. And on one of the first posts I got, Lady Locks reached out to me and shared with me her YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
And within the first week, I had 20 or 30 people share channels with me. But I'd started on hers, so I was kind of ingesting that information, so to speak. I was watching her videos, working my way through them, and not only are they fun and entertaining, but she's got a lot of good tips and advice.
Yes.
And I felt like that was very helpful for me. Um, Unlike most people, show it to me once, hands on, and I got it. If
Okay.
somebody, show me a video or somebody explaining it, better.
Yep.
Just give me a book. Like I've bought some of the practical lock picking and locks and locksmithing, guide. And but like most people, learning is it's slower, and you know I have a harder time internalizing the stuff. But this Medico, was definitely a eye opener for me. Of there's a difference of reading medical and watching the videos online versus what you're feeling. When I first put a pick in this thing, I was so lost.
Okay.
And now to the point where I can pick it, I can actually feel what's going on inside and understand the feedback. And it's just you've got to get through it. So the videos were very helpful and helped me wrap my head around so I could at least understand what I should be feeling or seeing
Mm-hmm.
or what
Yeah.
to expect. But Lady Locks was the main one.
She's good at that. Yeah.
Yeah, Mountain Mick, watched a few of his videos and just got plugged in with a bunch of people, but it just seemed like at that time, I got very used to her mannerisms and how she delivered it, and I found her content not just educational but enjoyable.
Very
So for the first,
straightforward too.
it was just, I would watch a few here and there, and hey, I'll get to it when I've got time. But hers was the first channel that I really, picked up the playlist and A to Z watched all 78 videos or whatever the heck she had for her main thing. And
Okay.
that's what really helped me get started and wrap my head around stuff. And then it was just a flurry of activity and starting my channel and other new channels and, people making connections. And it was a whirlwind, but it was so fun.
So, speaking of channels, what was the original reason for your channel?
So I actually made the channel earlier this year. I'd ridden out to Georgia with my motorcycle group for our national meeting, and on the way back, I couldn't help myself. I was so close to Tennessee that I rode up there, and I hit the tail of the dragon, which is
Yep.
for those of you who aren't into motorsports, whether you're a car enthusiast or a bike enthusiast, is one of the
Yes, it is.
most people have it on their bucket list. It's if I remember right, I might missay this. It's like 318 curves in 11
Hmm.
miles. It
It's
is just a twisty,
it's
turny,
scary and fun at the same time.
yes, very technical, which to me that's fun. I enjoy technical, but just this amazing ride that I'd heard about when I was a kid, but I've never been there. And so now I'm 46, and I'm like, I can't be this close and not.
Very cool.
So went up there and rode that, but I put a GoPro on my handlebar. So that was the very first video I ever uploaded. It's still on my channel. There is no commentary. There is no music. It's just half an hour or 20 minutes of me riding the tail of the dragon.
Very
But I
cool.
put it up there just to share with my father. He's he's too old to ride anymore. He's put his bike away. I actually bought the bike off him, and wanted to be able to share with him because that was my childhood growing up. Him teaching me to ride when I was 6 years old, and then even my early adulthood was if I went on vacation. My dad and I, he had multiple bikes. I'd jump on one of his, and we'd take off down the 101, fall on the Oregon and Washington coast, and just beautiful scenery and twists and turns. And uh, so that's kind of what got me initially to start to post it, but then I didn't use it again until I got into this and the
Hmm.
LPU.
Yeah.
For those of you who are trying to work on your belts, they require you to put up videos of you
Yep.
picking locks.
Yes.
And I'm like, all right, well, even if I don't share them with anybody, even if I don't make them public, I can at least use it for that. But then I started looking at, I own my own company, and I would like to start doing some videos for my company, explaining what some of our services are, and just putting out information for people that are looking to buy homes and help them out. And I didn't want to learn on that platform, so to speak. I wanted to be able to be free, be goofy, be me, without trying to be professional, make some mistakes, uh, learn how to not to say 100 times. So I just started doing it, and eventually I will start doing. I've got a separate channel that I'm going to do under a different name for my business. But I just got into it, and as soon as I started doing it, a bunch of the people that already had channels and other newbies that were starting around the same time as me, started supporting me, started giving me shout outs. And it just became fun. So I started doing it just, hey, let's get the experience. Let's not just learn how to be on camera, but how to edit the videos, how to
Yeah.
load them on YouTube, how to set up the all the behind the scenes options you can do to make them reach more people, kind of figuring out all that before I do it professionally. But it became so much fun. I really got into it. And so that's how it started, was just a single bike video, but then it just kind of grew and took off, and I've had a blast doing it.
So, the future of your channel, are you going to continue to do more of these kind of videos?
I think so. I'll at least keep doing them for all my belts. I don't think I'm being overly ambitious. In fact, I think I'm being a little uh, cautious with myself. But my goal is to get my black belt by the end of the year.
Okay.
I don't think that would be an issue. Uh, I'll probably do it way sooner, but I want to hedge my bets. Life gets busy.
Yeah.
Summertime, I'm very busy with my company. But I've kind of found a niche of when I started, it was just fun, but everybody kind of had their little thing. They were the Stu Do, and some of those guys are doing Shackleman, and Stu started the Mitten Maid to help veterans out. And uh, I didn't feel like, and I still don't feel like I'm experienced enough to be giving people advice. I'm happy to share what I know, but I'm not going to be um, just this wealth of knowledge right now. I just don't have a much enough experience to, in good conscience, be giving people, you know, a lot of advice. I can share my experiences. Um,
Yeah.
but I found a niche that just hanging out with people, doing lives,
Hmm.
encouraging others,
Good.
just in general. I feel like, life's hard enough. Life is going to kick you whether you're up or down.
Hmm.
There are enough challenges out there. Let's have fun. Let's be a little goofy, have a good time, and encouraging other people to do that. And from that kind of started, I started doing a, short story series just out of, me being a goofball. Grouchy Lenny, I had sent him some stuff,
Yeah.
and the post office, um, it seems like 9 out of 10 letters I mail when I'm sending people poker chips and swag, if it's got a poker chip in it, when it shows up, there is like someone's taking a razor blade and cut one corner and they're trying to shake stuff out. So I don't know if they're just trying to steal stuff. If they,
Oh
I put the
man.
more expensive stamp on it for non-machinable since they can't run it through their machine. So I've paid them to send the heavier stuff. Or if they think I put a silver dollar in there and they're trying to, I don't know what's going on. But
Yeah.
when he got his stuff, I just sent him a poker chip and a sticker and stuff, and I don't even remember if I sent him a lock, but the poker chip didn't show up. I'm like, crap. Well, I got to send him another one. So just me being goofy, I decided, hey, let's have a little fun with it. So I wrote a letter like I was writing to a mob boss of, hey, please stop sending your goons and me up. I promise I'm going to send you the stuff. I'm sorry. And just kind of did this goofy letter, hoping it would put a smile on his face and maybe he'd share it online. Just, why not? And from that, I got the idea of, well, I can start doing that for more people. So
Yeah.
I got to pull it up. I don't remember who it was, but I think it was maybe Cheese Grits and Nyquil was my first short story. So I made up a story. I'd done a few lives with him and kind of knew the genesis of his name and where it came from.
Hmm.
So I wrote a funny story about three, guys in this mythical land called Cheese Grits and Nyquil, and them, raiding the tyrant king's food stores and unlocking the food and saving the people of the town and yada yada yada. And it kind of got fun, and I wrote a few, and then I started messing around with AI videos, and I started turning those stories into AI videos, and the community, has responded extremely favorably to them. I've got a lot of people
Cool.
saying how much they're liking them. So I've started kind of doing the deal where if you want a short story, you got to do a live with me. So I've got people approaching me now going, hey, I want to do a live with you. And then I'll send them the short story, let them read it, and then I'll make an AI video. So I've got, 10 or 12 short stories now. Not
Cool.
all of them, I wait till they receive their letter. They read it online if they want to. Some people aren't comfortable, reading out loud, but I'll start doing a short stories and using AI videos. And this guy's Robin Hood, that guy's doing Star Wars, doing goofy whatever, and it's been very fun. And I feel like I found a niche and a way to give
Yeah.
back and just give people a laugh and a giggle.
Definitely.
But it seems very well received, so I will probably keep doing that just because I'm having a ball.
Okay.
Um,
Good. I'm glad to hear that. You
yeah,
mentioned a few times though that you were utilizing your channel for your company. What do you do for a living?
so I own a home inspection company.
Okay.
So I got into doing home inspections probably a little over 5 years ago. One of my friends owned a company, worked for him for a couple of years, learned the business, and then opened my own shop. And I've been doing it for almost 3 years now. So I'm not going to get into specifics on what it is. I want to keep my personal and professional life separate.
Sure.
But this time of year is, most people are buying homes when their kids are out of school. So the late spring through summer and early fall are fairly busy. The winter time it definitely slows down. So
Mhm.
that's part of why I've had so much time to progress and do what I've done in lock sport. Is I'm home as much as I'm at work this time of year.
Okay.
So um, I love the job. I've got a good work life balance. I could work more. It'd be nice to make more, but at the same time, I get lots of time off and get a help on the ranch. And uh, my mother-in-law lives with us. She's got dementia, so help my wife take care of her and just enjoying what time we've got with our kids. They're grown, but they're actually near home right now, so uh,
That's good.
just enjoying life, man.
All right. So I wanted to ask this question before we move on to interests and hobbies. Is there anything about yourself that you'd like our audience to know that they wouldn't otherwise know already?
No, I mean we've kind of covered it, and especially my first video, I kind of just introduced myself and talked more than I picked any. Um, but I mean, I'm a veteran. Did 17 years. Got caught up in some downsizing under President Obama. They were looking for excuses. Got rid of people.
Hmm,
Um, love my country. You know, proud having served. Not a big fan of our government. Um, but I'm the guy that I'll give you the shirt off my back, but I'm also the same guy that if you want to play who's the biggest asshole, that really is my favorite game, and I'm really good at it. So
okay.
you get what you give. If you want to be nice,
Yeah.
I'm going to be the nicest guy you ever meet. If
Yep.
somebody tells you I'm a complete asshole, believe them, they earned that version of me.
Okay, good. So you mentioned firearms and that you were in the military. Um, and I had that listed as hobbies and interests, but you mentioned guitar. Can you talk about that a little bit more? Because you mentioned about not pulling it back out because you were afraid your wife was gonna.
Yeah, she's actually been great. I know how I am once just like this, when I get my hands on something, I don't want to do anything else. So when I decide I want to learn, whatever the song is, Stairway to Heaven, I'm going to practice that same lick over and over and over for an hour until I get it. And I don't want to subject her to that. But
Torture.
um, yeah, ever since I was a kid, um, thought guitars were cool. Always thought music, loved music. I can't carry a tune if you handed it to me in a bucket. I have
Gotcha.
no tone, no nothing. But I'm like, guitar, I could do that. So I tried a little when I was like in junior high. My school offered if we could get 6 or more people to sign up, they would have a guitar class. So I tried that, but of course, when you're 11, 12, however old I was, I didn't have the patience to stick with it. I was very ADHD,
Gotcha.
and to keep the guitars at school, I couldn't bring it home to practice.
Mm,
So I only got an hour a day. Um, but I've always been fascinated. And a few years ago, when I first got out of the military, trying to figure out what I was going to do for a living, the one of the jobs I had, I was working out of hotels 5, 6 nights a week, working on the road for a holster company. I was taking care of all of their gun stores that they sold holsters to in
oh,
Texas and
cool.
Oklahoma, and way up to a regional sales manager.
Okay.
I was in hotels a lot, so I bought a little travel guitar and started practicing with that. I want to do something other than just watching videos and sitting around. Let's take advantage of this time. So I started getting into it, and then after I stopped working for them, I COVID hit, and I was working out of the home
Mm,
as a correctional officer for the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, working for the prison system.
okay.
And the unit I was at, COVID was hitting really hard. The company that I was working for, the holster company, they reorganized, and they ended up letting me go.
Mm,
So I was working at the prison system just to keep the wolf away from the door while I found a career. Well,
yeah.
because of the COVID, I didn't want to get the family sick, so I actually moved into. We've got a little guest cabin on the property, so I moved in out there. So once a week, I'd sit in the yard with the family for a couple hours, but the rest of the time it was, they would text me, "Hey, we left your dinner on the front porch," and I was out there by myself. So again, instead of just watching movies or playing video games all the time, I put in 4 or 5 hours a day playing guitars, and I did that for about a year and a half.
Okay.
Really enjoyed it, got into it, bought multiple guitars,
Mm-hmm.
got a pedal board, really got into it.
Yep.
But
Same here.
uh, life got busy, other things started happening, kind of put it on the back burner. And then unfortunately, that guest cabin started becoming a catch-all of, oh, we'll just throw it out there, we'll deal with it later. And now that guest cabin is a storage unit.
Yeah.
So when I thought about, hey, I can grab the lock picks that are in this drawer right here and maybe buy a few locks and it won't take up a lot of room, or I can go spend, an entire week gutting and cleaning and organizing this cabin so I can get to my guitars and have somewhere to play them. Yeah, we're just going to grab the locks.
Okay. All right. So here's the question I always enjoy getting to with everybody, and that's, do you have any thank yous that you'd like to give to any other lock sporters?
Yeah, so I mean, we already talked about Lady Locks, what she's done for the community. everybody already knows her. She's great. She's amazing. But personally, a thank you to her. She's listening. Um, but the two I'd really like to call out, there's everybody's been so welcoming and amazing. But the first guy I really got hooked up with was we kind of started at the same time is the guy you just interviewed, Swamp Picker. Gene is amazing. We kind of hit it off, became friends right out the gate. Um, he's been great. And then the first person to kind of give me a shout out online, I don't even think I had 10 subscribers yet, was Nightmare. Uh, has been a champion and supporter of my channel since the start. And man, I'm just in awe of that guy's skill. He's already a black belt. He's just kicking butt. But they've both been there for me in my corner from the jump. And unfortunately, I would love to name more, but I would forget somebody, and I hate to leave somebody out and have somebody else feel frustrated. So that's the only reason I'm naming those two is they were there at the very very beginning. But I've met dozens and dozens of people that have just been awesome and amazing and supportive.
Yep.
But those were the first two, and so
Fair enough.
if I gotta pull somebody out, that's why.
Okay, well, I'm still going to ask you, are there any lock sporters that you feel that should be mentioned who are of note in the community, like pillars of the community?
Yeah.
I'm
So the main one
guessing.
I got.
I was,
Yeah. Go
I was
ahead.
going to
Sorry.
say, I'm guessing it's going to be some of the same answers.
Yeah. So definitely pillars of the community. Unfortunately, with how new I am, I still don't know all the people that have, the guys in the background. Like I know MG Secure is one of them that's, running one of the main guys on Discord for the LPU, Lady Locks. Um, there are a ton of people that are doing so much for the community. And I'm just so stinking new that I don't know a lot of them yet.
Gotcha.
Um, but yeah, is the one I know by name is Lady Locks. I mean, obviously everybody knows, Lock Noob and Lock Picking Lawyer. Their videos are fun, but uh, I feel Lady Locks is very relatable. And then I guess the other one I would put out there is C Studio. Um,
Okay.
his channel exploded. I think he's been going a year and a half, just under 2 years, and he's 40,000 plus subscribers. And everything he does for veterans with his mitten made lock sport stuff. I guess those are the two I would call out that I know of.
Okay. All right. So, last question before we wrap up. What's your favorite thing about Locksport besides the community?
Um, so obviously the community is amazing, but for me, it's a combination. It's kind of the tripod, so to speak, that I talked about earlier. Is the community, the LPU belt system, and the picking itself. I enjoy picking. It's therapeutic. It helps with me with my PTSD. Gives my little brain and fidget fingers something to do. I enjoy the challenge. So the LPU belt system, you know, uh, if you're not doing it, you don't have to. To everyone, do your thing, do what's best for you, enjoy your journey. But to me, I like having something to overcome. A challenge placed before me gives me motivation. But then on top of that, I like lockpicking in its own. I enjoy the challenge of the LPU, but the community is just so supportive and amazing.
Yeah.
Um, I've been in a lot of different hobbies over my life. My wife is, I think, glad that as I've gotten older, I've slowed down and I kind of, stick with things longer.
You and me
But
both.
when I, get a sport and then, okay, that's cool. I learned it pretty quick. I'm at the 90th percentile. I don't feel like dedicating 10 years of my life to be the best paintballer in the world. I'm going to sell my $2,000 of paintball gear and go buy, kites now. Cause I like kites and okay, that was fun. Now let's sell that and get into, whatever's next.
Yeah.
Uh, but this community and just everything about it has been so great that I've really enjoyed it, and I think I'm gonna be sticking with it, even if it's not my main hobby. I still ride my bikes
Yep.
quite a bit,
Yep.
but it's amazing community. I'm enjoying doing my little short videos, and I've made some great friends.
Do you have a final message for our audience before we sign off?
Uh, Unfortunately, don't mean to get serious on y'all, but the world sucks, life sucks. These days politics in the world is crazy in general. But the last 2 months, hopefully 26 goes better, but November, December were pretty hard for me. had multiple funerals, multiple deaths. Um, is I know the holidays weren't great for everybody. I
Yeah.
was lucky enough to grow up in a home where, I had that nostalgic Christmas. I think back in my childhood, it was great.
Yeah.
Not everybody had that. And especially being military, for those of us that were military, you learn to have family where you are because you can't always be with blood relatives.
Yeah.
So you find these friends that become family. And I definitely feel like our community has a lot of that vibe in it.
Definitely.
And there are people out there that care.
Yeah.
So whether you're just feeling alone and feeling down, no, you're not alone, or whether it's, you're really struggling and you're thinking about doing something, the world's a better place with you in it. Reach
Reach
out to
out.
somebody.
Yeah. Reach out to somebody.
And, man, I know sometimes it's easier to talk to somebody you don't know. Reach out to me. I would much rather hear about the battles you're fighting than to hear about the fight you lost from somebody else.
Yeah.
Um,
Agreed.
so
Well, I want to thank
yeah,
you for doing the interview, and I enjoyed talking with you. It seems like we have quite a few areas in common, which was fun to talk about. Um, so with that, I'm gonna say that what my usual spiel. If you have been interviewed, thank you for that. But if you haven't been interviewed, or it's been a while since you've been interviewed, circle back and get back with me. Let's get something set up. Let's record either your initial interview or another interview, a follow up, so to speak, to see kind of where you've progressed since the last time everybody got to hear about you. So with that, I'm gonna wrap up. If you are a subscriber, thank you. If you are not yet a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications and all, and hit like on the video. And thanks for listening.